from the studios in Colorado Springs, Colorado.
Good morning, everybody!
Good morning.
That's it? You don't have anything else to say to me today?
All right, not a morning person. How about you? How are you feeling?
I will kill you.
Well, there you go.
Asked and answered.
Someone's cranky.
I'm not cranky.
I just haven't had my coffee yet. So, coffee?
I'm going to need more than that.
Like what?
Like? I'm going to need you to
Entertain me.
I can do that.
But how?
Like this.
give a listen.
It's showtime. Welcome into the Sports Guy Mike Show on a Tuesday, June 16th, 2020. Season 10, episode 111 on the year. It's a very auspicious number, 111. Thanks so much for hanging out with us and making us part of your day right here on KCBR 98.5 AM at 1040, as well as online at 100mixfm.com. Lots to get to, lots to talk about. But before we get going, want to give a shout out to Venture Travel and Tickets. If you're looking to get away this summer, make sure you hit up Venture Travel and Tickets at 719-357-7510. Venture Travel and Tickets, the best way to get away. So, a couple things going on around the world. Of course, coronavirus, still very much a part of our daily news and what's going on. And, of course, protesting and things that are going on around the world as well. Keisha Lance Bottoms, the mayor of Atlanta, announced police reforms yesterday after officers shot and killed Rashard Brooks at a Wendy's over the weekend. The rule will require cops to use de-escalation before using deadly force. This is what we're talking about by things being implemented, action being taken. And it's not something that's being shoved down the road. It's actually something that's happening and being done right now. So kudos to Mayor Bottoms out there in Atlanta, especially after what happened. President Trump will, President Trump, is that what I said? President Trump will sign an executive order today on police reform focused on how to credential and certify police, creating a database of officers accused of misconduct, and having social workers accompany police on some calls. I know he doesn't want to speak out about it because he doesn't want to look like he cares, but at least he's pushing something in the right direction. Audio was just released by the city of Minneapolis where a 911 dispatcher who was watching the George Floyd arrest and murder told her supervisor it looked quite a little different. She also said, quote, "You can call me a snitch if you want." Well, don't think you were a snitch. Knock-knock warrants could become a thing of the past. In the wake of police killing Breonna Taylor in Kentucky back in March when they busted into her house unannounced, then wound up shooting and killing her. Many city and states have now banned the warrants, and the Senate will keep up the issue soon and may ban knock-knock warrants nationwide. And those are some of the stories that are going on around the world in regards to protesting and what's going on right now in that area. But coronavirus, people have been eating more cereal during the pandemic, specifically sugary cereal. An industry report says it's because adults find the sugary cereals are, quote, familiar, comforting foods that brought joy and pleasure. Of course, as a kid, who didn't like sugary cereal? The pandemic has officially brought back the drive-in. 42% of people plan to visit a drive-in movie theater this summer. It's not like there's a whole lot of them out there, but I guess if there's one, I know we have one in Pueblo out here in Colorado. I don't know where there would be any other ones. That's weird. Demand for luxury real estate in vacation towns like Aspen, Colorado, and Park City, Utah, has been up during the pandemic. Wealthy people want their own houses in those places so they have somewhere safe to stay when they visit. That's pretty interesting. And finally, Shorts Brewing Company in Northern Michigan has been making deliveries to some customers who are stuck at home by using a seaplane. That's pretty cool. How'd you get your beer here? Plane. Plane just dropped off the beer. You got to admit, that's kind of cool. Not for nothing, but that's pretty cool. All right, and that is what's going on around the world and here in our country as well. We're going to have Brandon Morrell come in here shortly, and we're going to talk to him about Cowboys, Texans players testing positive for the coronavirus. A couple other interesting things going on. I got to give Mike Greenberg credit, man. He went out and did this thing last night on ESPN where he spoke to Goodell, he spoke to Adam Silver, and, of course, he spoke to Rob Manfred, amongst others. And Commissioner Roger Goodell last night, sitting in with Mike Greenberg, made comments in regards to what he thought was going to go down with Colin Kaepernick. So we'll talk about that coming up as well. But joining us, sitting right there, Mr. Brandon Morrell. What's up, buddy?
What's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm good, man. Just giving the folks their morning news here as best as I can bring it to them before I get into some sports news that's been going on. And like I was just saying, Ezekiel Elliott, amongst other Cowboys and Houston Texans, have tested positive for the coronavirus. Basically, this is something that we all were going to know. We all knew was going to happen. What I'm concerned with is how the NFL is going to move forward with all this, because it's not like this is going to be the last time this happened. Yeah. I mean, Elliott later questioned on Twitter why his medical information was made public by referencing HIPAA. And, HIPAA's privacy policy, which prevents the disclosure of medical information without patient approval, only applies to healthcare providers. So if he thought for 1 second that information wasn't going to get out, he was sorely mistaken. Yeah. But I think this is where the NFL needs to really make sure that there's going to be some kind of protocol on what they're going to have to do, how they're going to handle it moving forward when more players end up testing positive for COVID-19.
Yeah, I mean, look, you're a professional athlete. What you do on a daily basis is kind of in the limelight, whether you like it or not. I mean, it's out there. It's the bottom line, And I think it's one of those things to where, this is, celebrities, just like actors and actresses when it happened with Tom Hanks and stuff like that. I mean, this stuff is going to be publicized by a group of different people. And, people are trying to get out there and get the facts the best way they can and also be on top of the news or on top of the stories. So I'm a little bit surprised. Like I said, I guess really not surprised when I saw the actual news come out there that Texans players and Cowboys players had, tested positive in that sense. But at the same time, look, this is, something that's been around now for a few months. We're figuring it out day by day, how to, get more toward a vaccine to cure it. Or like you said, different types of, drugs that are out there that can be prescribed to do it. And I guess we're kind of sick of watching the news as much as I am right now, as we've talked about, that the fact is you just, you wish the best for people. And honestly, it's, again, him being an athlete too, to me, it's not that big of a deal when it comes down to it. But I think just more concerned about the safety and the concern of his health now. And becoming a situation to where you have to be quarantined for that 14 days, do test positive, and getting ready for training camp, because the thing is, they're going to have to do what the NBA is doing, like you said, starting June 23rd, where they test every other day.
Right.
And that should have been a part of that return to play protocol, for Major League Baseball. Of course, that's not going to happen that we see right now. But I will say this, if the NBA is going to have a return to play protocol for itself starting June 23rd, testing every other day, expect the NFL to run a tight policy from what's just happened now from the Texans and Cowboys players. Very unfortunate, but at the same time, wish them a speedy recovery.
And the other thing we have to look at too, Brandon, is maybe we're going to be seeing, like, you see guys go out and get, they're put on IR, or they're like, hey, they're going to be out for a few days. it's going to have to be to the point where, okay, freaking, Zeke tested positive. All right, he's going to be out for the next 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
He could miss 2 games depending on where that falls. You know what I mean? So it's how they handle it. Is it, you quarantine him, obviously, but then what do you do with the rest of the team?
Yeah.
Do you now say, okay, well, Zeke's got it, and I'm not saying this is what's going on. I'm using him in this example. So if this was during the season and they're playing, and whoever the player is, John Smith gets it,
Mm-hmm.
quarantine him for 2 weeks. Well, now you got to make sure that, like you said, the rest of the team is getting tested.
Mm-hmm.
Is it every week? Is it every other week?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, these are things that they're going to have to start implementing and, kind of letting the rest of us know, at least the talking heads, so that we can educate the rest of the listeners on, so this is what's going to happen when somebody does get it. Problem is now you have people concerned that are sitting in the stands, if people are even going to be in the stands in the beginning of the NFL season, because that may not even be the case right now. They're looking at losing $3 billion if they can't get people to sit in the seats, during the beginning of the season. So there's a whole nother controversial issue that the NFL is going to have to deal with. So I think moving forward, as long as they're smart enough to try to figure out how to contain this, as far as inside the the locker rooms, I feel like it's the never ending issue or topic. Like, I would love nothing more than this thing to go away. But again, like I said yesterday, it's only been hindering us for, close to 3 months, 2.5 months, whatever it takes time to figure it out. It takes time to figure out, certain things, certain protocols. But in this day and age, everybody wants crap right now, Brandon. You know what I mean? They want it right now. They don't want to wait. We have Amazon that'll get you a package in 24 hours. I mean, people don't want to wait. And I'm an old school guy that used to have pen pals. You know what I mean? And now I'm the guy that's like, what do you mean? I have to wait till Friday to get that. You know what I mean? I am that guy too. I've kind of conformed to how society is and how things have been. So I'm guilty of it too. But sometimes we need to stop and take a minute and realize that some things just need time. Change in police reform and things like that, we've waited way too long.
Yeah.
COVID-19, we got to kind of give these guys some time to work stuff out. I know everybody's anxious to get sports back and to actually be involved in sports. But as you can see, these players are still getting it. So there's a concern. There's still a concern.
Yeah, and like I said, we still hope we have a NFL season coming up in September too. That's the bottom line. We're shooting toward that too. So with this to come out really is not necessarily shocking with what we're going through right now with all this stuff, but the bottom line is going to be how many more, come out of this at the same time from franchises and things like that. And also too, throughout the story too, I know it was saying something, I believe it was saying something like they weren't at the Star at the practice facility at the same time. So again, not around teammates, where did you pick this up? Were you doing something on a personal level, social level? Were you out amongst a group of people? So we'll never know that situation. And to me, I'm a little bit surprised it actually sneaked out and became publicized. I understand celebrities and professional athletes, but at the same time, like you said, through HIPAA and some of the other things out there too, they do have rights and for this health thing to come out. And when I saw it was like, well, okay, it's just like logging on to one of the websites and catching up on the news of the day, kind of like what we do here. It's like, okay, well, what else is new? Somebody else tested positive. Okay, yeah, we know the names out there, Cowboys and Texans players, but right now, I don't really care. I want them to be concerned about their health and the recovery from this.
Right.
And whatever the doctors and personal trainers and medical staff have to do to get them well at the same time. Because, look, we want football in September. Outside of the NBA, that's probably the next sport that's going to come back there too as well. And you're right. I mean, this does provide a little question mark. I mean, does the NBA look at this and go, uh-oh, what were we thinking? I know our testing is going to start June 23rd, but, man, even we have to be a little bit worried about our players even more now that it's come out and several NFL players have tested positive.
Yeah, I mean, and the other thing is, too, I get it, and Chris Braden has talked about this, and, you can't be afraid, you know what I mean? And I understand that. But when you are talking about massive amounts of people and, an entire football team, So you're talking about 50 plus guys, add on staff, add on personnel, add on team docs, tape guys. I mean, that's a lot of people in that facility, man.
Yep.
Trust me, I've covered enough teams. Most recently, I've covered the Broncos. Do you know how many people are just in and around the facility during training camp?
Mm-hmm.
It is ridiculous. And they're already saying that there's not going to be any media. The media is going to be very sparse and few and far between when it comes to that, when it starts. So, I mean, it's not like your own personal bubble. It's not like you saying, oh, man, I'm just so afraid to go outside. Put your mask on, go outside, do what you got to do.
Mm-hmm.
People are doing it anyway. People are going out without their masks.
Yeah.
But when you're talking about a couple hundred people in a facility, and now you have guys that are popping up, but at least it wasn't like they're saying he didn't get it, at the team facility. However, what I am concerned about was that whole outing or that whole dinner party over at Dak's. I mean, just saying, there were a gang of people there.
Yeah.
Zeke was one of them. Now, they're saying that Dak has said that he's not positive, but who knows? We'll see what happens. And, it's just it's gonna affect the way these guys move forward. And I don't want them to be scared, but I want them to be precautionary. And I hope that the NFL and Commissioner Goodell have got their ducks in a row to make sure that these players are safe, and having the right health protocol, if that makes sense, wiping stuff down, all that good stuff. So, all right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Roger Goodell said that he encourages teams to sign Colin Kaepernick. We'll talk about that on the other side of the break. Eagles right guard Brandon Brooks says he tore his left Achilles. Mind you, this is a guy that has just come off of a freaking injury. But hey, who am I to talk bad about anybody? And 49ers coach Kyle Shanahan getting paid. Got a big paycheck coming his way. All that coming up next right here on the Sports Guy Mike Show. Don't go nowhere, y'all. Are you looking to get away this summer? Give Venture Travel and Tickets a call at 719-357-7510. Whether you're looking for airfare, hotel, car rental, or even all-inclusive vacations, you need to contact Venture Travel and Tickets at 719-357-7510. Book your vacation today with Venture Travel and Tickets, the best way to get away.
Adult Youth Swanson Counseling is a licensed and accredited OBH treatment facility providing people services in the criminal justice system for over 6 years. Adult Youth Swanson Counseling is located on 1826 East Platte, on the corner of Platte and Union, where the counselors are not only licensed and accredited, but also have life experience. They offer court-ordered DUI classes and any mandated court-ordered treatment. Use the promo code RADIO and pay only $20 for your initial intake fee for level 2. Adult Youth Swanson Counseling, where we help you feel better so you can get better and live a successful life.
Are you a first-time home buyer having trouble finding the right realtor that fits your needs? Well, look no further. Call Brandy Mendones with Keller Williams Clients Choice Realty at 719-291-4678. Take a journey into real estate with a top-notch company and a top-notch hands-on realtor that has your real estate success in mind.
I've been in the Colorado Springs area for 14 years, and I love experiencing everything the beautiful state of Colorado has to offer. I've raised my children here and would love to help you find your next home in Southern Colorado.
Call Brandy at 719-291-4678 with Keller Williams Clients Choice Realty, where
home and happiness happen.
Having car problems? Maintenance coming up on your vehicle? Don't gamble your money away at other mechanic shops. Come to All Service Auto. At All Service Auto, you get the quality workmanship and parts that you demand. Professionals at All Service Auto strive to make your experience the best you've ever had, from beginning to end. Everything from engine replacements to tire rotations. All Service Auto can get your vehicle back on the road and driving like you want it. No job is too big or too small. All Service Auto works on all makes and models, making them your one-stop mechanic shop. With affordable prices and customer service that is leaps and bounds above the rest, make your first choice All Service Auto, located at 3455 Chelton Loop, right near the intersection of Platt and Chelton. Call to set up your next appointment at 719-573-0292. Taking care of vehicles and the people who drive them. All Service Auto. Call now, 719-573-0292. All Service Auto.
Due to recent events with COVID-19, Liberty Tax Now can do your tax return remotely. Give them a call at 866-871-1040 or visit them online at libertytax.com. Type in your zip code to find your nearest Liberty Tax office today. That's 866-871-1040. Liberty Tax, where you do life, they do taxes.
It's hot. Hot! It's a red hot radio station.
Number 1 this week in music history, 40 years ago.
I want to take me to Funky Town. Want to take me to Funky Town.
30 years ago.
It must have been love, but it's over now. It must have been good, but I lost it somehow. It must have been love.
20 years ago.
Dust yourself off and try again. You can dust it off and try again, try again.
10 years ago.
California girls were unforgettable. Daisy Dukes, bikinis on top. Sun-kissed skin so hot, will melt your popsicle.
Welcome back to the Sports Guy Mike Show, right here on KCBR 98.5 AM 1040 and online at 100mixfm.com. Sports Guy Mike, Brandon Morrell hanging out with you. So that's crazy. So the week of June 19, in the past 40 years, last 4 decades, women have had the number one song in this week. And that it's just, I just thought it was weird. Like Funky Town, first of all, it goes so far back, 1980, by Lips Inc. If y'all didn't know who sang that. It Must Have Been Love in 1990 by Roxette. Try Again by Aaliyah in 2000, excuse me. And then Katy Perry, California Girls 2010. An all-female lead singer lineup. Not too shabby for the ladies.
It's not, man. I'm gonna tell you, we talk to ladies on the show every day when it comes to the musicians and stuff like that too. That I have the backstage pass show that I do, which is like I said, steadily just rising out there too. And it's not surprising that ladies are taking over the music industry now, because once, speaking of country, back about 20, 25 years ago was pretty much male dominated back in the 90s there too. So now it's starting to cross over a number of different genres, but especially country now too. And it's good to see, man. It really is good to see.
NFL commissioner, and I said this earlier, you got to applaud Mike Greenberg. I don't know whether if it was his idea, he came up with this or whatnot, but last night he had a special where he spoke to Goodell, Manford, Silver, all these guys respectively. And he spoke to Roger Goodell last night, and Goodell said that he supports and encourages teams to sign Colin Kaepernick, who, of course, is now 32, hasn't played since the 2016 season when he was a member of the 49ers. In a conversation that he had with Greenberg, the special was called The Return of Sports, and Goodell said it would be up to the team to sign Kaepernick, and said he welcomes Kaepernick's voice on discussions of social issues. So, a good move forward. Still, I mean, I guess you can call it a positive action, but again, it goes back to what I said. It's not like Goodell can go, you have to put him on your team. He doesn't have that power. That's not the way it works. And I'm really glad that some of these talking heads have finally come out and like they're saying what I said a week ago. They're saying this now, like, well, it should be on his merit. Yeah, but a week ago, you guys were like, standing up saying somebody needs to throw this guy on a team. I'm still not. And look, a lot of people are convinced that he's still that player. I don't. And I'm not saying he shouldn't get a shot. I think he should get as many chances to work out for as many teams as possible to right the wrong that was done at him. However, do people honestly think that a guy that hasn't played in this many years, that really at the end of that run wasn't playing that well to begin with, is miraculously going to come back and be able to somehow, some way affect your team in a positive way? If that's the case, awesome. I hope he finds it. Look, he can come work out in Pittsburgh for all I care. I'm not a big fan of his just because of some of the rhetoric that came out of his mouth I wasn't very happy with. I felt bad that he got ostracized, and I thought it was kind of disgraceful. However, at the end of the day, it's about your play. And if we're talking about Colin Kaepernick, the football player, really wasn't that impressed the last time I saw him. Just saying.
Well, and first of all, too, we said this before, too, if you were that damn good after the first round of workouts, after everything that went down, your phone would have rang and you would have been signed by an NFL club at that time. That ought to tell you something right there, too. And for me, look, you can't sit there and say, yeah, I saw the situation, like you said, they're going to do the special right there with all the commissioners last night, and Greeny asked the questions. I saw it, but it's kind of funny, since all this went down, people have had their minds on other things to get done, fix up stuff around the house or go exercise more, eat right. People have been taking care of themselves more, and sports has kind of been left on the back burner because it hasn't really been there to talk about. And at the same time, people have, people I talk to, even me being a huge sports fan like you, people have lost interest. They just don't care anymore about the sports returning, because in the end, they say it's about the fans, but all this stuff that's going down right now, it's not about the fans. We have to come up with different topics to really, come out there. ESPN's trying to invent documentaries and come up with The Last Dance. And I'm surprised how ESPN is even surviving with some of their shows on television.
That's why I said kudos to Greenberg for coming up with
this idea, this special, because what can a commissioner say beside what a lawyer's told them to speak on behalf of it when it comes to legalities and stuff like that? I mean, they can speak for themselves and probably did last night. Like I said, I didn't even care to watch it. But the bottom line for me was, look, man, I'm with you. If this guy was any good, Colin Kaepernick, the football player, let's put aside what he did, off the field too. He took a stand. You took a stand. And that's like me saying that I'm going to, do something with my current situation with my job, say something wrong, do something wrong. Well, you're fired. You can't come back. You look at what he did. Here's a guy, Mike, that sued the NFL
and got paid and
won
won
a ton of money. And now his boss, or could be his boss again, is going to come back and say a team needs to sign him. What sense does that make? I'm like, are you kidding me? You have all this money, and you still want to play, but yet you're going to piggyback off the commissioner. So here's what we're saying: you can't go out, Colin Kaepernick, and get a job on your own. You need your boss to go on national TV and tell 32 NFL teams,
hey, it's okay to hire him.
It's okay to hire me. Wow. I tell you, it's gotten a lot deeper now when it comes down to it. So again, some of these comments made on national TV, again, you don't know what to believe with these commissioners. You don't know when it's going to restart for their prospective sports. And until we read something like we have, with the NBA, they've got Orlando, 29-1 vote, coming back July 31st, 22 teams, that's set in stone. The rest of the sports is just kind of up in the air right now. These leagues are basically in peril. They're going to lose a lot of money, too, at the same time. But look, if I'm still an owner, a GM of NFL franchise, or a head coach, and I need a quarterback in the worst way, only then would I reach out and say, hey, Colin, come take this backup role for like $3 million for 1 year. You put up some good stats, we'll keep you on as a year-by-year basis. But, man, look, this guy didn't get a job before after all those workouts and changing the different locations of the workouts and having teams trying to, just beg to show up. It's ridiculous. It really is.
That was so moronic. So Ronnie put up a good thing here, and I like this because I was thinking about this. Ronnie says, would it hurt his cause if he comes back? So here's the thing. It's not going to hurt his cause to what he's trying to do, Ronnie. What it'll do is okay, let me give you a scenario. If Cap tries out or gets worked out by, let's say, 4 teams, invite him in, right? He works out for all 4 of them. None of them bring him on the roster, okay? What that's going to do is two narratives are going to be brought out now. See, it took so long. Now look, it took so long that he's not as good as he was and he missed his opportunity. There's always going to be that narrative. I don't agree with it, but it's going to be one of the narratives. The other narrative is going to be, we told you. We told you that he wasn't the player that he used to be. Me personally, for me, I think his best interest is to stay away from football. It just is. It's in my opinion, and I'm allowed that. The reason I say that is partly because of what Ronnie's trying to get at. Is it going to tarnish what he's trying to do? It's not necessarily going to tarnish it. It's going to look weird if he doesn't get signed. It's just going to look weird. The narrative is going to be all over the place. There's going to be two sides to it. People are going to go, see, I told you he wasn't that good, but he's 32 years old. Was he let go and ostracized for all the wrong reasons? Absolutely. Should he get a fair shake right now? Absolutely. But the narrative is always going to, that's always going to linger is, see, if y'all wouldn't have did that to him, he'd still be in the NFL. Because now it's too late. He's 32, and now he's not playing the way he was. Well, you know, we can't turn back time. The guy was duped. He was jerked. It is what it is. But if he's the guy that he says he is, I've been working out every day, and I still got it. Okay, bro. The minute somebody gives you that opportunity, you better show up, and you better show up with every freaking piece of your A game that you have so that you can at least get signed in a backup role, in a third round, whatever the case may be. You better get signed, because if you don't, it's just going to look – it's just going to look – I don't want to say bad because it won't be bad. It's just not going to be great for everything that you're trying to accomplish on the football side of it. Not your stance against, you know, police brutality. It's about – now we're talking about your football play. We have to take all of that and set it on the shelf for a minute, because it's not relevant when you put pads on. It's not. And I'm telling you, if he comes and works out for a couple teams or even one team and doesn't get signed, it's going to be weird. It's just going to be weird.
I tell you, to kind of build on Ronnie's point there, I think if anything, it would help his cause if he comes back and he's dominating too at the same time for that to happen. Because here's the thing. I do believe a team is going to reach out at some point. What's that at some point is, we have no idea, because we don't even know the current status of this upcoming season, for that matter, with COVID and that kind of stuff. So if and when it does kick off in September, you're going to have, you know, injuries are still part of the game. Concussions are part of it too as well. 32 is not old for a quarterback in this league. If we've seen Tom Brady still continue to get out there and dominate now in a different place in Tampa. And I think at the same time too, look, if the arm strength is there, the quarterback, once you've played it too, the instincts never leave you. You and I both coach football, so we know what it's like being on the sidelines and working with guys with different quarterback drills, working on arm strength, working on the mental aspect of the game, and things like that. So, two, if the footwork is there, if he's in the best shape that he says he is, and he can only know his body better than anybody else. So he can say one thing, and when you step out there and play, like I said, you're across the line looking at 11 defensive players, you got to make quick, accurate decisions. And we know it's one of those things that's either going to happen with your feet or your arm. You're not just going to be handing off a football 15, 20 times a game and, like I said, rolling out on a bootleg and doing nothing else. You're going to be expected to manage the position, be the anchor that your team needs, stepping into the right situation as a backup. God forbid a starter to get hurt and he has to come in there. But, man, you better be extra good when you get that opportunity for team, because it's coming. And I think, if anything, to answer Ronnie's point, it's going to help his comeback cause rather than hurt him, because the longer he stays away from the game, despite what we think, it's the black eye is on him. The image is not looking good. Yeah, I mean, that was a great point, dude, and it will help if he can get signed. Yep. If he gets signed, because then now he can really be like, see, I told y'all I belonged here. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? If he somehow gets signed, the quarterback in front of him gets hurt, and then he starts playing and rips it up. Yep. Then it's really bad for them, not for him. Good for him, bad for them. But I don't want to beat this dead horse, so let's move on. Eagles standout right guard Brandon Brooks said Monday that he tore his left Achilles tendon. Out on social media, he said, "So I guess now that the news is out, yes, I tore my other Achilles,
but when life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. I'll be back and better than ever. Appreciate the love is what he wrote on Twitter. Now, the injury occurred at the Eagles' NovaCare complex where Brooks had been rehabbing from late season shoulder surgery. Now, he dislocated his shoulder in week 17 against the Giants, forcing him to miss the Eagles' wildcard loss to the Seahawks back in January. Brooks had previously ruptured his right Achilles in 2018 divisional playoff loss against the New Orleans Saints. Eagles head coach Doug Peterson said Tuesday that his heart sunk when he learned of Brooks' most recent Achilles injury. Look, I actually think that when this guy is when Brandon Brooks is healthy, he is a very, very good football player. Okay. My concern as Doug Peterson, as GM, as ownership, front office, first of all, Brandon Brooks is a very large man. For those of you that don't know, he's a very big fella. And my concern with this is when you have repeat, and you know this, Brandon, when you have repeat injuries and your body isn't able to have that time to heal, there's going to be a problem, a big problem. And I think that this guy's going to have issues trying to make it back. He's 6'5", he's 335. This is a big dude. Now he's got a second Achilles issue. He's rehabbing from a shoulder surgery. I mean, this is not, he already wasn't the quickest guy in space, but he was fast enough off the line. He could get his hands on you. I'm concerned that this guy might be thinking a little too in the granular thought process, like, oh, I'm gonna be back. But I mean, I know that's what you're supposed to say. I don't see this guy returning to be anywhere near the player that he was. I just don't see it.
Look, I've been following Brandon since the Houston Texans drafted him too there and out of Miami University. And I think here's a guy that, was a great draft pick for us down here. Did some good things, was a guy that could step in when we needed an offensive lineman too at the same time, was definitely a great draft pick for us. Has gone on to have a better career with the Eagles than he did with the Texans too at the same time. But, you're right. You make a good point there. It's the fact is if you come back at all, it's kind of like Kaepernick. How good are you going to be if and when you do come back off the injuries that you've had to your body? Because honestly, look, your body's going to give you signals and signs of when it's time to walk away, or at least it should for guys that have an injury-riddled history.
And his body's screaming.
And the body's screaming right now. And I think it's one of those things to where, look, if he comes back, how good of a player are you going to be if you come back and due to the current COVID situation there too for, so the NFL players too at the same time, that'd be something that also crosses his mind. And he says, man, I want to spend more time with my family and not risk my health even further with the COVID situation too. So I think, look, Brandon Brooks knows his body just like Colin Kaepernick knows his better than anybody else. We're not in his body, so we don't know. They can say these things, but honestly, when you get back on the football field and you line up against a 300-pound defensive lineman across from you too as well, playing his gap responsibility, and you're trying to keep him out of it, that's a different thing. He's got great footwork. You're right. He gets his hands on people too at the same time. And I think this is where, honestly, look, if he can recover fast enough, make an attempt to come back, but who's to say you can't get hurt again? Because offensive linemen, they need one thing and one thing most when it comes to moving laterally and moving forward and driving guys downfield. Their knees become very important. You see more guys now in their careers than ever wearing braces on their knees as offensive linemen, guard or tackles, no matter what position that you play, or centers too as well. So it to me, unfortunate situation that it happened, but I wish Brandon the best in his recovery. And honestly, I can imagine Doug Peterson's concern because, look, man, it's not easy to go out there on the free agent market and find undrafted offensive lineman or a free agent offensive lineman, coming up there too as well. There's the caliber of a Brooks type player. So this is, very unfortunate too at the same time. And I wish him the best speedy recovery too. And hopefully we'll see him back on the football field soon.
It's hard to find those guys that have been in the system long enough where there's so little other than hey, this is what we run. This is how we run it.
Yeah.
And, you go and, these rookies, it's just, it's a pain. As a coach, it's just it draws on you. You're like, man, like now I got to find somebody to fill that spot again. Yep. You know what I mean? So it's a little disconcerting for Brooks. I wish him all the best. I think he's a talented guy. I'm concerned. Look, you got Achilles, shoulder, Achilles.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, your job hinders on all three of those areas of your body. if you can't grab a hold and shove anybody any which way anymore because that shoulder's jacked up now, I mean, I'm just saying, man, I wish the guy the best of luck. I just don't see it being a promising return for the poor guy. And he's only 30 years old, man. I mean, it's got to be a bummer. Got to be a bummer.
Guys like that are hard to find, like I said, hard to replace. And Peterson's concern is, man, like you said, it's hard to find another guy to step in there and know the system and know the play calls.
Right.
And what the responsibilities is at the guard position. So finding a guy like that to replace offensive linemen compared to other positions on the football field is not so easy compared to, other positions that are out there too as well. So it's a very important situation. I know he knows the playbook very well. He's very comfortable playing with Carson Wentz. And like I said, switching positions on the line and being flexible. So, again, I'm wishing him all the best, and if he does get back, man, I hope he gets back to full strength.
San Francisco 49ers have signed head coach Kyle Shanahan to a multi-year extension. Team announced this yesterday afternoon. The 6-year contract replaces the 3 years remaining on his deal and ties him to the 49ers through the 2025 season. It also makes Shanahan one of the NFL's highest paid coaches in the NFL right now. So Adam Schefter reported this on this the other day. I mean, you could do worse. Yeah. I mean, I know a lot of people. Chris Braden, I know, is a big fan of his. Wanted him to come out here, but when right before Vic Fangio was signed out here in Denver. Look, I think he's the right fit for them, for the 49ers. You have a young quarterback. You have a lot of young talent on that team that's thriving. Hopefully for them and for their sake, Kyle Shanahan learns how to make better calls in pressure situations, in playoff scenarios, in Super Bowl scenarios. He's 0 for 2 right now. He's got to be better pressure situations, making better calls, either that or hand it off to somebody else. But kudos to him. Good luck to him. I'm glad he got his contract. Glad he's got his dough. They have their guy. John Lynch loves him. So, they have a good relationship, which is, it isn't always easy when you're talking about GM and head coach. When those two get along and they have the same vision, that's always a good thing. So congrats to Kyle Shanahan.
And what I love this move, first of all, and look, he was a Jed York guy. Jed York and him met. Part of that story was to sit down, talk about the future of this franchise and kind of where it's going forward. Super Bowl appearance, the NFC champions right now, too, at the same time. We want to get back to that level, too. So not surprising to replace the 3 years left on the deal. 6 years, a big commitment there. But look, one of the most brilliant minds in the NFL when it comes to being an offensive coordinator, well-respected around the NFL, too, at the same time for his play calling too, and I think Jed York and him sat down and got on the same page before all this contract stuff got ironed out, before he inked it for another 6 years. This is a situation, yes, in the 6-year time period under Kyle Shanahan, I can say yes, San Francisco will win a Super Bowl in that particular aspect of things. I think they have a title left. Unfortunate, it happened, like I said, last year was Andy Reid's year in the Kansas City Chiefs, and like you said, the better play calling in pressure situations will get better. I think he's assembled a great coaching staff around him. Robert Saleh is going to be one of the next best head coaches in the National Football League, especially coming up maybe this offseason. He interviewed for a couple of jobs, including the Cleveland Browns. That's his defensive coordinator.
Yeah, DC.
And here's something else that a lot of people don't know is Kyle Shanahan is a great observer of getting bodies around him, other coaches around him to fill positions. It's actually one of the only NFL teams, I believe, that has 11 women filling different head coaching positions on the San Francisco 49ers. So we're seeing a different line of, like you said, different players and different observers of talent, and I think you're going to see more women becoming in the coaching ranks too. We saw the commercial, the situation there out there with the San Francisco 49ers. I can't remember her name right offhand right now, but the Microsoft commercial, and she's come in. I'm trying to remember her name right offhand, but I'll probably look it up. But anyway, I think it's just when you get a lot of great head coaches around you, and you build a staff like Robert Saleh, who was one of the top defenses out there again this past year against the run and the pass too at the same time. So. Love it, love it, love it. Jed York got his guy, got it for the right price. And honestly, man, look, here's a guy that took a franchise that was in futility and resurrected it through the draft. And he and Lynch are on the same page too at the same time. So great, great move. Love it that he got paid. And I just hope San Francisco can win a Super Bowl in the next 6 years.
Yeah, I think it'll be good for them. And 6 years is a long time,
Yeah.
but hey,
Yeah.
like I said, they got their guy. Jed York loves him. John Lynch loves him. You know, when all those guys, when those three factors and those three people, whether they be men, women, black, white, red, yellow, doesn't matter. When those three positions and those three titles are gelling all on the same page, look out, because that's when that's when things start getting interesting. All right, y'all, we're going to take a quick break. By the way, Ravens Lamar Jackson is just fine after taking a tumble on a jet ski like a moron, just to let you guys know. All right, keep it locked, y'all. Sports Guy Mike Show. Don't go nowhere.
Hey, Bill, sorry to hear about your car accident. How are you doing?
Not good, Mary. My neck is killing me.
Have you found an attorney for your claim yet?
You know, I went to one of those guys that you see on TV all the time, and they said my claim was too small.
You need to call McDowell Law Firm. No claim is too big or too small. They specialize in criminal defense, DUI defense, and of course, personal injury.
I need that number.
You can call them at 719-227-0022. That's McDowell Law Firm at 719-227-0022. Or online at McDowellFirm.com.
Thanks, Mary. I'm going to call him right now.
Having car problems? Maintenance coming up on your vehicle? Don't gamble your money away at other mechanic shops. Come to All Service Auto. At All Service Auto, you get the quality workmanship and parts that you demand. The professionals at All Service Auto strive to make your experience the best you've ever had, from beginning to end. Everything from engine replacements to tire rotations. All Service Auto can get your vehicle back on the road and driving like you want it. No job is too big or too small. All Service Auto works on all makes and models, making them your one-stop mechanic shop. With affordable prices and customer service that is leaps and bounds above the rest, make your first choice All Service Auto, located at 3455 Chelton Loop, right near the intersection of Platt and Chelton. Call to set up your next appointment at 719-573-0292. Taking care of vehicles and the people who drive them. All Service Auto. Call now, 719-573-0292. All Service Auto.
Are you looking to get away this summer? Give Venture Travel and Tickets a call at 719-357-7510. Whether you're looking for airfare, hotel, car rental, or even all-inclusive vacations, you need to contact Venture Travel and Tickets at 719-357-7510. Book your vacation today with Venture Travel and Tickets, the best way to get away.
Adult Youth Swanson Counseling is a licensed and accredited OBH treatment facility providing people services in the criminal justice system for over 6 years. Adult Youth Swanson Counseling is located on 1826 East Platte, on the corner of Platte and Union, where the counselors are not only licensed and accredited, but also have life experience. They offer court-ordered DUI classes and any mandated court-ordered treatment. Use the promo code RADIO and pay only $20 for your initial intake fee for level 2. Adult Youth Swanson Counseling, where we help you feel better so you can get better and live a successful life.
The hottest station on the dial. It's just hot. It's red hot.
Wonderful fudge. Load your fudge and watch down fudge. Fudge. Load your fudge. So much fudge. We can hardly budge.
Welcome back to the Sports Guy Mike Show right here on KCBR 98.5 AM 1040 in Colorado Springs, as well as online at 100mixfm.com. Sports Guy Mike, Brandon Morrell hanging out with you. Today is National Fudge Day.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
These national days for everything, man, just get to you sometimes. I guess, I will say this. I used to love fudge sickles as a kid, too. We used to go to the freezer and get them all the time. And
yes. love those. Actually, those and the creamsicles.
Yes, the creamsicles.
One of my favorites.
Yeah.
But my all-time favorite, and it's funny because I didn't notice this at first. I really didn't. It might have been a subconscious thing, but I wasn't the one that even came up with the colors. A friend of mine was. But so the Fanfare logo, right? Fanfare Eastern logo.
Oh yeah.
If you look at it, so my favorite ice cream of all time when I was a kid was a Bomb Pop, and Bomb Pop is red, white, and blue.
Yeah.
If you look at the Fanfare logo, it almost looks like a Bomb Pop. And my buddy was like, he goes, "Yeah, I really like it. The color." I was like, "Oh, cool." He goes, "Wait a minute. He goes, that kind of looks like a bomb pop. And I'm like, are you serious? And I'm looking at it and I'm going, okay, maybe it does. Whatever. But yeah, today is National Fudge Day. Big fan of fudge. I love
the Grizzly Bar. Grizzly Bars were the, you know what, man. I love those things. They were good.
Absolutely.
Hey, I looked at the name. Katie Sowers was her name. She was on the commercial too as well. And I think that's where it's becoming a more dynamic lead. She's a 49ers offensive assistant. I wanted to clarify that too, because that's where he's got an eye for talent. And that's why I love the new contract for Kyle. I really do.
Look, not a 49ers fan at all. Don't need them creeping around number 6. But it was a good sign. Just saying.
It was. Yes, it was.
All right. Major League Baseball Commissioner Rob Manfred was on Mike Greenberg's Return to Sports special last night. And all of a sudden, this guy has changed his tune, Brandon. And he has gone from being confident that the 2020 season is going to emerge to not being so confident anymore. Here is his conversation, his brief, a brief part of his conversation with ESPN's Mike Greenberg.
You told Carl Ravitch here on ESPN last week that you felt 100% certain that there will be a season this year. How do you feel today?
Well, I know the owners are 100% committed to getting baseball back on the field. Unfortunately, I can't tell you that I'm 100% certain that's going to happen. I had been hopeful that once we got to common ground on the idea that we were going to pay the players full prorated salary, that we would get some cooperation in terms of proceeding under the agreement that we negotiated with the MLBPA on March 26th. Unfortunately, over the weekend, while Tony Clark was declaring his desire to get back to work, the union's top lawyer was out telling reporters, players, and eventually getting back to owners that as soon as we issued a schedule, as they requested, they intended to file a grievance claiming they were entitled to an additional $1 billion. Obviously, that sort of bad faith tactic makes it extremely difficult to move forward in these circumstances.
What are your concerns for the optics of this circumstance playing out as publicly as they are during the time in this country where all the other things, the confluence of events involving the pandemic and protest in the streets and everything else, of this playing out as publicly as it is?
It's just a disaster for our game. Absolutely no question about it. It shouldn't be happening. And it's important that we find a way to get past it and get the game back on the field for the benefit of our fans.
Would you describe your feelings as confident that there will still be a season?
I'm not confident, Mike. I think there's real risk. And as long as there's no dialogue, that real risk is going to continue.
How unbelievably crazy.
Oh, my God.
Here's the thing, Brandon, and I'm sure you agree with me because you've said it.
Yeah.
And I've said it. This is not about the fans. You guys don't, neither one of you. Shame on you, Rob Manfred. Shame on Tony Clark and the NF and the MLBPA. You guys should have had these dialogues months ago. To now, you got a commissioner who not only is not my favorite person anymore after the whole Houston Astro debacle, but now he's not my favorite person because I feel like he's not using his position properly. I don't feel like it's anything to do with the fans. It's, again, we've said it before, it's millionaires versus billionaires.
Mm-hmm.
The owners and the players are arguing over money, the semantics of it all. Stop using the fans as your go-to and your crutch. Look, y'all could give a crap about us because if you did, you would have figured out a way, just like the KBO did in Korea, to get their baseball started. We are past the point that Korea was in quarantine.
Mm-hmm.
And when Korea came back to do the KBO, we're way past that. If they did it, you guys didn't take the proper initiative to figure out how the KBO did it, which tells me it is all about the money, and you two idiots can't figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, the surprising thing there is to you realize how bad he is now just put that mark on the game that we love so much as fans. And honestly, we talk so much about, every sport there, North American sport, losing so much money in ticket sales and sponsorships and things like that. And like you said, the big time TV contracts, it's going to hit their pocketbooks so hard, man. It's not even burning for them on the back end of it yet. But I will tell you the piece that got me there, two things about that. One, you go on national TV on MLB Network with Tom Verducci and say, I'm 100% confident baseball is going to return in 2020. And then you're going back on your word. You're playing topsy-turvy and you're going to go to Greeny. I'm not 100% confident baseball is going to return it. Okay, man, you realize how bad you made yourself look and your game look at the same time. And it's like you can't stand up to do what's best for, as a leader in your sport, do what they're asking you to do, put together a 50-game, 48-game schedule, whatever it is, to even get back on the field to take the proper steps. And the fact that you say in that comment that Tony Clark and the Players Association feel like it's in the best interest to get back to playing. What about the owners wanting the best interest for the game and wanting to get back to see their players play, the people that work for them? I mean, I'm like, okay, do you hear what's coming out of your mouth, Manfred? I'm like, this is just – it's gotten to a point where, look, we're washing our hands and throwing away with it. There's not going to be baseball in 2020. Let's just fess up and say it right now. It's a shame. It's a crying shame. We'll get back to 2021. And I tell you, man, after next year, the players have a full year off. Players have a full year to recovery. Hopefully we'll find a vaccine for this thing, too, at the same time. But December 31st of 2021, people think this is bad now. December 31st of next year, when it goes on strike again, I'm saying it's going to go on strike again.
Oh, yeah.
Due to, like you said, millionaires and billionaires fighting each other, because it's always been about the money. We go back to 94 when the Montreal Expos were on their way to probably winning a World Series. Jeff Bagwell wins Rookie of the Year. They striked in, too. There's no World Series that year, too. At the same time, hell, 5 years ago in 2016, the CBA went down to the wire. We almost didn't have a 2017 season 2 at that same time for all this mess to take place. So, yeah, you screwed up a lot of things in the sport, man. You didn't do the Astros stuff. Dills, you didn't even do the Red Sox stuff this past year with Alex Cora and that whole situation too. So that was a mess. It took you a long time to reach a verdict. And think about this, Mike. If it took him that long to put a ruling down on the Astros and the Red Sox, think about how long it's going to take for baseball to come back. If you can't get your ducks in a row and get your legal teams out there to get across between both parties and get you guys on the same page, that shows me there's coming up in a strike after the 2021 season.
It just makes me feel like both sides are just
they don't care.
They don't, and they're both being overly selfish. I'm just going to leave it at that. Sports and celebrity birthdays for today. Phil Mickelson turns the big 5-0. My boy Lefty. Look, me and Lefty, we go way back. That's my boy. MC Ren from NWA is 51 years old today. Laurie Metcalf plays Jackie on Roseanne. And, of course, she also plays Sheldon's mom on The Big Bang Theory.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see who else we got in here real quick. Roberto Duran, Mr. No Mas, and those fights against my favorite fighter when I was growing up, Sugar Ray Leonard. Roberto Duran turned 69 years old today. The guy that drove O.J. Simpson around in his white Bronco, that's right, Al Cowlings, is 73 years old today. I haven't heard that name, dude, in
a long time.
God knows how long. So, wow. 5 days until Father's Day, 18 days until Independence Day, and 80 days until Labor Day weekend. Anything you want to say to nice people before we get out of here, Brandon?
One of my best interviews is coming up this afternoon. He was a big impact with the country group Big and Rich back in like the early 2000s.
Oh, yeah.
He's still hanging around. Talked to him on the phone yesterday. Cowboy Troy is actually coming on the show today
nice.
at 2 o'clock Central Time. Get a chance to catch up with him. He's got some new albums. You can catch it over at the SportsGuysPodcast.com, and looking forward to catching up with Cowboy Troy. Should be fun.
Very nice. All right. Enjoy your National Fudge Day, everybody.
Oh, yeah.
We will talk at you again tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel right here on the Sports Guy Mike Show. KCBR 98.5 AM 1040 and online at 100mixfm.com. And as I say around here all the time, don't sweat small stuff. We're out here. See ya.